You know what I'm saying? I've just been doing some realizations with myself and how I interact with other people. And I have my moments where I'm weak, where I'm lonely, and I'm like just looking for some type of affection or companionship. And I even put myself in situations where I forced it. But the real goal is like being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, at this point, it's being honest with ourselves and being honest with the people around us. And it's hard to do because a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Like, as you're working to be honest with yourself and you're admitting all your wrongs, it doesn't make it any easier on the other person to do that, to admit their wrongs. You know what I'm saying? It has to be something with them that, inspires them to do the same thing as well and be open and honest about the things that they don't want to be honest about. And it's difficult because for me, for a long time, I've always focused on the problem more so than the solution, like longer than need be. You know what I'm saying? I understand the solution is ultimately God, but the problem is the flesh, the world. And in order to have a better understanding of the flesh and of the world, we have to be completely honest with ourselves and how we are acting in the flesh and being of the world. And nobody's saying like we have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Even for me, like I know that might be like an ultimate goal to ultimately be perfect in the spirit. As in like I'm living in the spirit. I'm not living in the flesh. That's the closest it comes to perfection with me. But when it comes to others, like honesty is the key. And I know I can't demand that from people outside of myself. But when it comes to like living with people, like that's my main goal. It's like if I'm living with these people, we have to be open and honest about everything, regardless of our position or situation. And at the end of the day, it's like we have to admit when we are wrong, when we are wrong. And we can't necessarily pick and choose, even though we try. And that's all I'm saying, because at the end of the day, like your vulnerability is what makes you more strong. It's a strong asset to have because it I feel it builds wealth in a different type of way in the future when you are working to be honest, because then it naturally is going to come out. And then when you start to be honest, you have to deal with the persecution of others and how people take it, and how you deal with it is shows you how far you've grown, how much you've grown. So I really feel like it's definitely a process. My problem is that I don't read enough. The solution is to read the word. I know this, you know what I'm saying? But obviously I have hesitations towards it because what it would entail, what does that mean I have to give up? So I know I run away in the aspects of that. I know like I also get distracted to where I don't pray like I should to build a relationship with God within myself, you know what I'm saying? Outside of other people or other people telling me what I need to do. I know deep down within myself, I know what I need to do, and it's up to me to do it. And I feel like that goes with anybody else. I realize like at the end of the day, I've seen myself growing more selfish as a form of protection. You know what I'm saying? Just to like solely focus on myself, not really intermingle with other people or, connect with other people. I know I struggle with that because of differences and not wanting to really meet that confrontation all the time. But at the same time, like I'm working to move out of that because at the end of the day, like everybody's going to have their own opinions, everybody's going to have their own truths, and everybody's going to have their own beliefs at which they believe in and honor. And at the same time, like I have to find a way to be okay with that. Not to necessarily say that my side is superior or my belief is superior, even though in my mind it is, because that is what I'm choosing to follow. But to understand the differences of what makes us different, which is necessarily the problem. What is the solution to overcoming differences and actually, learning how to work together even though we don't necessarily agree on the same things all the time. And that requires honesty. Like we have to be honest. Because at the end of the day, when somebody chooses to be honest with themselves and I choose to be honest with myself. We can easily come to an agreement with the things that we choose to be honest about. And it's like, it's all about confessing and professing. Confessing and professing. It's like a balance between the both. Like, to always remind myself that I'm not God. I'm not perfect, but I inspire to be, and that's what I profess, you know what I'm saying? But what am I professing? Is it something of philosophy? Is something that I came up in my mind, or is it something that is completely of God? And that's what I personally struggle with, the difference between the story and the future and the path. You know what I'm saying? The difference between what you've been through and where you're going. And to find a balance between that is difficult, because in your past is the wisdom, That's where all the wisdom lies, where you've grown and where you choose to not make the same choices and decisions. So at the end of the day, like, it's a process. I just feel like when it comes to, communicating with other human beings, it can be very chaotic. It's never something that you expect. It's not something that you control. And the more you try to control it, the more manipulative you're actually being, and you're not being honest just by default, because you're intentionally doing something that maybe someone isn't or is aware of, and you're taking advantage of that situation. I mean, we all have problems, and like, I build up my problems in my head as if those are the only problems in the world, and it's just not the case. Like, everybody's going through something differently, but it's about us coming together. And I know, like, there's certain people in my life who try to come together, but we're all very different. You know what I'm saying? All very different. We come from different places. But at the same time, like, if I'm looked at as less than, or as if my mind or my whole being is less than you because of a position that you hold, then it's just like, that's something that I'm having to struggle with. I don't know necessarily if it's right or if it's wrong, so I'm definitely going to be asking God to show me if I'm wrong in that aspect, you know what I'm saying? Because I never want to come against, people of God, men of God, ordained people of God, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, if I'm being honest, like, there were situations with these people that showed me that we all have human aspects. We all, fall short of the glory of God. We all fall sometimes back in our own, old ways of thinking or being or reacting to things. And that is normal. That doesn't mean it's right. It's normal. But when we try to, like, make as if it's not there because you hold power, or because, you have a right to own certain things, or whether it be a house or property, and you use that and you hold that up over people's heads, I can't get with that, because it's just like, why are you doing that? Why are you holding or trying to justify something that's not necessarily right? You know what I'm saying? Even though you're working to be in the spirit, at this moment in time, you weren't. So it's like, be honest about it. What did you do? What did you say? How can we grow? It doesn't matter what people do to you. It matters about how you react to what people do to you. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, like, I will have a hard time living with people who don't operate on complete open and honesty. And that is from within the home. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've been selfish. I've been selfish because I know at least I am working to be open and honest and confess where I fall short, so I can be able to not only help others, but embrace the solution, which is, being more disciplined, being more, open to the word, being more to building a relationship with God, outside of dealing with people. So, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm currently at right now. I'm not at the best when it comes to staying focused, but I'm working on it. It's so difficult when you've been distracted for a long time, to find your focus and regain your balance. But I know it's definitely possible. I know I have faith in God that He's going to show me. I'm working to change my faith in myself to my faith in God, which is in me. But I want to be able to distinctively know where my power comes from, where my, my grace, my mercy comes from. It comes from God, not my own doing, not anything that I'm doing, because I'm far from perfect. I just want others to admit the same thing if I'm going to be living with you. Because at the end of the day, it makes life so much more difficult when the people around you are doing their best to be honest in all aspects of their life, but the people that you are around don't want to do the same thing. They want to pick and choose what they want to be open and honest about, and that isn't cool at all. It doesn't matter who you are. And I'm not saying that I don't do that. I'm saying that I do. And that's the thing. Like, I'm saying that I'm not perfect. I'm saying that I'm not perfect, and I'm not trying to be perfect because I can't do anything by myself. And it's just like there are certain aspects that people are avoiding, and I don't blame them because we do that by default. So that's what I'm working on. Peace, love, Kyndall, out.